Hey, how's it going? Zach D Productions here, and I'm here with a list video for you guys. I guess you could call this a top 5 because for this video, I'll be going over basically my top 5 favorite films from the year 2015. Now, 2015 I thought was an interesting year. I mean, it was the year that I did start college after all, so I would say my 2015 was pretty good actually. It's better than any of the last few years for me personally. But yeah, and there's been some pretty good films to come out that year, and we'll be going over 5 of them in this video. At least I would consider this to be my top 5. And of course, let me know what films you liked from the year 2015. You could name a top 5, a top 10, or whatever. Just feel free to let me know in the comments. So keep in mind, this list is also in no particular order, so there you have it. So I think the first film I'll go over here is Run All Night with Liam Neeson. And to be quite honest, this is probably one of my favorite films with Liam Neeson. I would consider myself a fan of Liam Neeson. I really do like him as an actor. And when it comes to Liam Neeson flicks, this is definitely one of the more darker films, I would say. I mean, in terms of the violence and even the story itself. But all in all, it is really good. It's, I would say, one of Liam Neeson's best films. I know that there's some people out there that are really critical towards, I guess, the modern era of Liam Neeson's career, like basically from this point on of his career. But I actually really dig this film. It's actually really good. So give this movie a chance if you haven't seen it. It's actually a really good one. So Run All Night with Liam Neeson. So next we have Ip Man 3 with Donnie Yen, of course, based on the late Ip Man who trained Bruce Lee. But this is a solid movie. I don't think it's as good as the first two. I mean, I know there's a lot of Ip Man fans that say that they should have just cut it after 2. They should have just stopped at 2, basically. For me, I don't agree with that because I do like the third film. Now, I would say that this is where they should have cut it, because the fourth film, for me, I just wasn't a fan of that film. I didn't think it was a great film, to be honest. It actually might be the worst Ip Man movie, not just of the Donnie Yen saga, but just in general. I mean, there's just some things I really didn't like about that film. I mean, it's not, like, I wouldn't say that it's awful or anything, like it's unwatchable or whatever. I mean, I guess you could say it kind of is to an extent, but, you know, I don't know. That's another video for another day. But Ip Man 3, I really do like, though. This is a very solid film. It's definitely the most emotional out of the Donnie Yen saga of Ip Man. So, yeah, you do have Mike Tyson make an appearance in this movie, and Donnie Yen's character gets to fight Mike Tyson, which is kind of interesting, I guess. But yeah, again, it is the most emotional as well out of the Ip Man films, at least of the Donnie Yen saga, that is. But yeah, so pretty good, actually. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not as good as the first two, but still worth a watch. If you like the first 2 films, I would say give this one a watch. And of course, Donnie Yen's martial arts, his fights in the movie are really well done, really well choreographed. I mean, when it comes to the martial arts stars, I do like Donnie Yen. I mean, I don't like him as much as Jet Li or Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee, of course, but I still like Donnie Yen. He's still very terrific at what he does, so there you go. So, Ip Man 3, really good movie. So next, we have Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which is a really good movie, actually. I mean, I'm actually of the opinion that there are no bad Mission Impossible movies. Yes, I think the second one is actually pretty good. I know there's some people that hate that movie. But yeah, the second one is definitely the weakest. But with saying that, I still like the film. But with that film, you could tell they were trying to make Tom Cruise a James Bond, basically. Like, it just didn't really work that well. They kind of went into that a little bit with this movie. Like, there's a lot of scenes in this movie that did remind me of James Bond a little bit. Like the Opera House scene in the movie, that definitely rang James Bond for me personally. So yeah, you could tell, like, I feel like at this time, they were trying to put in a little more James Bond inspiration once again with the Mission Impossible franchise, similar like they did with the second one. But I just think that it's done better here. And of course, Tom Cruise's stunt work is really great in the movie. I mean, Tom Cruise is, of course, one of the all-time greats in cinema. I mean, I, of course, really dig the beginning sequence, you know, when he's on the plane and everything. Really epic, really intense, but yeah, really great one. This is actually a really solid, fun movie, so definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. So, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Next, we have Furious 7, which could also be known as the Fast and Furious 7. Honestly, I know I'm not alone on this. I do think that the Fast and Furious films should have stopped after this. This was, of course, the last one with Paul Walker, which that should have been a wake-up call right there. Like, they should have just stopped after this. I mean, they really didn't need to make any more, to be honest, after this. Like, why they continue to make more after this is beyond me. Like, I personally don't get it. Like, you can't keep doing this to franchises. You can't keep putting out a sequel after sequel after sequel. It gets repetitive and it gets annoying after a while. And, you know, some people eventually just lose interest because it's like, okay, you know, anytime now, you know, when's the finale, you know? So I just think that this should have been the finale, to be quite honest. I do dig the action scenes. I dig the scenes with the cars and everything, you know. So it is a really fun movie. I mean, I would say the Fast and Furious films, they're fun movies. They really are, despite what people want to say. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that really don't like these movies. They say that they're overrated too, which I can definitely understand the overrated argument. I can definitely understand that. But I still like these films for what they are. Now, out of the more modern era of the Fast and Furious films, this is definitely the best one, if you want to put this in with the modern era of the Fast films. For me, I would say the first two films are the best. I mean, because those films are more, you could say, realistic. They're more grounded, you know, unlike films like this one. But it's still a solid movie. I still really did enjoy this film for what it was. So, Furious 7, it's actually a really fun movie. So lastly, we have Jurassic World. The first Jurassic World film with, of course, Chris Pratt. This was basically a soft reboot of Jurassic Park. It's set in the same universe as Jurassic Park, but, you know, it's basically like a whole new era. Like, years have passed by, you know, since the Jurassic Park era, and then they decided to do sort of a soft reboot and come out with Jurassic World. Now, I think the Jurassic World films, while they're not as good as the Jurassic Park films, I do like these movies. They're still very fun movies. For those who don't know me that well, I do love dinosaurs. I mean, so of course these movies are going to be up my alley for sure. I mean, I do like the Jurassic World films. I mean, they're really good. They're really good, fun movies. I would say that this is probably my least favorite of the Jurassic World films, but with saying that, I still like it though. It's still a really fun, solid movie. So, Jurassic World, really good one. So that is my list of my top 5 favorite films from 2015. Feel free to let me know what you think. What did you think of this top 5? Let me know. So on that note, thank you for watching. Have a good one.